Hi YouTube, welcome to another edition of Horror Hands, and for this video I'm going to be talking about The Stylist. So The Stylist is a movie that I've had on Blu-ray for quite a while now. To be quite truthful, it's not one that I was all that interested in seeing. It didn't quite appeal to me like a lot of movies, but finally got around to checking it out earlier today, and I have to say I thought it was excellent. This movie really took me by surprise, and I was so impressed with it and didn't expect to enjoy it half as much as what I did. So I thought I'd come on here for a few minutes and just let you guys know a bit about this film and why I enjoyed it so much. So this film, it follows this woman, and she's a hairstylist, a hairdresser, and she is she's very kind of unhappy. She's always sort of like lamenting the fact that she's not married, she doesn't have a family, anything like that. And she's always around sort of married women, or women that are getting married, or even women that are having their hair done for like weddings and stuff. And she just yearns to be married. On the surface, it's not a story that I found all that appealing, which is why it took me quite a while to get round to this one. But all this kind of loneliness and yearning to be married has kind of put her in a really dark place, and she has these murderous urges where she goes around killing people. She spikes the drinks and then murders them in quite brutal ways, and then scalps their head, takes their hair, and then often in the privacy of her own home she dons a victim's hair and pretends to be someone else. So she's a very kind of disturbed, psychotic, murderous woman. But she manages to live this life where she's just seemingly a nice, normal, pretty lady who works as a hairstylist. And these kind of murderous urges of hers are triggered by people being married or getting married. And she gets herself into a thing where she agrees to do the hair of like a friend, a customer of hers who's getting married. So over the next few weeks she's involved in all the planning and the wedding parties and things like that, and she just can't suppress her murderous ways anymore while this is going on. So pretty interesting concept. But what I really loved about The Stylist was actually just how stylish this movie was. It had a lot of substance to it, and I really liked that. It had a really kind of nice, glossy sort of look and feel to it. I love the colours and the cinematography. Yet it was quite grim in places. Even sort of reminded me a bit of like Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer in places. Yet at the time it had this really nice glistening look about it. And in terms of all the focus on weddings and marriage and these women getting married and doing all this stuff, it kind of fell within the parameters of, like, I guess what you'd call a chick flick, but had this kind of like Dario Argento style violence with it. It was a really interesting concoction and a real interesting meld of styles and themes and things like that. What's really interesting about this movie as well, and something that really impressed me, was it's directed by a woman. It's pretty much an all-female cast, and this film really does have like a degree of femininity to it, which is not an easy concept for me to get across. But there was something slightly different about The Stylist, which I don't see in other horror films. And on the surface, like I say, it's not one that grabbed me. It didn't particularly appeal to me all that much, but I was so pleasantly surprised by how much I liked it and just how well made this movie was. In terms of like the violence and the gore and things, the kills in it are pretty much spread out. It's not like a slasher film or full of blood and guts, but the kills in this are really well done, quite savage in places. It's got some pretty graphic gore in it, which is done really well. But it's done sparingly, so it's not just like an all-out gore fest. There's a lot of substance to the story here, and it's more of a character study on this very disturbed young woman that's trying to keep it together. And at times I actually felt quite sorry for this woman. even though she's going around killing people. I did feel a degree of sympathy for her, which again, credit to the filmmakers and managing to elicit that from this main character. And there's a lot of depth there. There's a lot going on. I think this is one that I'd like to watch a few times to just maybe spot a bit more and delve more into the story and this character study. And it's what was I going to say? Yeah, the crazy thing about the Stylist as well is that it actually came from a Kickstarter campaign where I think they'd done this as a short film and then managed to eventually get the funds to make it into a full-length movie. And the director who introduces the movie, she gives a really nice sort of humble, heartfelt introduction, was saying how she really had to fight for the release and the distribution of this film, and eventually Arrow came along and made that happen for her. But I kept thinking that I was really surprised that she had to fight so hard to get this released. Not to take anything away from her hard work, but this is such an impressive film and such an impressive debut from this lady. Really, really well put together film. It's got some great twists and turns. It looks fantastic. The characters and the character study in it was really captivating. I'm surprised that more studios weren't interested in this, but I'm really glad that she managed to get this out there. This was very much a hidden gem for me and took me by surprise. I don't know if it would be for everyone. I think maybe some people might find it a bit too slow. It might not be what they were expecting in terms of the kind of the sort of glitzy style of it. I don't know, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's one of the best films I've seen from Arrow in recent memory. So if anyone's on the fence about this like I was, I say definitely check it out. Expect something a little bit different, something that feels a bit different, but certainly delivers in the plot, the story, the characters, the gore, the violence, and everything like that. So if you've seen The Stylist, let me know what you think. I'd really like to get other people's opinions on this one to see what you guys think. And as I say, if you've not seen it and you want something a bit different, definitely check this one out. So thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.